This is Ethan, and I'm here with Dave, and together we are Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, episode 234-inch.
On this episode, we conclude our interview with Steven Silver and Michael Ocean, co-creative directors and game designers of Multimorphic's Weird Al's Museum of Natural Hilarity pinball game.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
It's a podcast about Weird Al.
It's Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Seriously, the whole podcast is about Weird Al.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
You don't have to listen, but we're glad you are.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast.
Hello, podcast listeners! From all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, we want to wish you a happy Juneteenth, a happy belated Father's Day, and a happy new inch episode to all who celebrate.
Last episode, we were joined by Steven Silver and Michael Ocean of Multimorphic to talk all about the Weird Al's Museum of Natural Hilarity pinball game, and we are so excited to share the rest of our interview with them this episode.
Now, there may be a few times in the interview where some information may seem dated or we reference something that has already happened. That's because this interview was recorded way back in January.
At that time, they alluded to their upcoming machine that they can't announce, but since it's now the future, we can talk about it. Their new pinball game is The Princess Bride.
And since we recorded the interview and found out about the feature to save the game, Dave has been taking advantage of that feature to improve his score and gameplay.
That is true. Ever since I found out about the save ball feature, I have yet to lose a game. In fact, I'm still playing the same exact game that I've been playing since January. It is so great.
Wow, Dave! I bet you've got the high score.
Yes, I absolutely do. And good luck trying to beat me next time you come over to play.
All right. I think that's enough pinball talk for now, but we've got a lot more coming up right after we take care of what's happening in Weird Al related news.
In a move that could only have been inspired by our recent trip to Ohio to taste their state's pico de gallo, Weird Al has shared a video of him lip-syncing Taco Grande with Gerardo, the artist behind the original Rico Suave.
Check out Weird Al's social media or at Soy Rico Suave on TikTok to check it out.
New York animation studio Flimpo has launched a fundraiser for the pilot episode of a project called Mandelbrot Hall.
The proposed animated comedy horror series hopes to have the pilot completed and released by the end of 2025, assuming they can raise the necessary funds through the fundraiser running now through the end of July.
And as you can imagine, we're talking about it because they claim that Weird Al has signed on to voice the character Jimmy James Bolden, a classmate of the protagonist who is an actual clown.
They have some cool backer rewards, including merchandise that features Weird Al's character Jimmy. To support this great project, head over to flimpo.co/mbh.
Past guest and friend of the podcast, Lily E. Hirsch, shared that Weird Al wrote a blurb for her new book, Taking Funny Music Seriously.
Her book will be released in July, but Lily has already shared the blurb on our official Facebook group, group.2000inch.com, if you wish to check it out.
We've talked to Lily extensively about her previous book, Weird Al Seriously, and along with other books about Weird Al that we've covered on our podcast, it was one of the best books ever written about Weird Al. So we are very excited to see what she wrote for this one.
And as we've previously reported, Lily once again used our podcast, Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, as a source for the book, so it's a must-have for Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast collectors as well.
You can pre-order the book right now over at Amazon or wherever fine books are sold.
Weird the Al Yankovic Story star Daniel Radcliffe picked up his very first Tony Award this past weekend.
Daniel won the Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Musical for his portrayal of Charlie Kringus in Merrily We Roll Along.
From all of us here at Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, congratulations to our co-star from Weird the Al Yankovic Story for the well-deserved win.
Now it's time for what's happening in John Bermuda Schwartz related news.
Tomorrow night, Thursday, June 20th, John Bermuda Schwartz will be performing with his longtime friend and bandmate, Rip Masters, at the Poorhouse in Oceanside, California.
If you make it out to the show, be sure to let us know all about it.
This episode is brought to you in part by Vegan Burrito Restaurant, Burrito Burrito, home of the 2-pound double wrapped in a quesadilla, Burrito Burrito, and Wizard Burger in Albany, New York. Come on down to Burrito Burrito and Burrito Burrito, your Burrito Burrito, and Wizard Burger for mouthwatering, loaded, dare I say beefy, vegan burgers. From Albany to Uranus, Burrito Burrito and Wizard Burger feed the hungry with out-of-this-world, plant-based, real food, always vegan style. Visit burritosquare.com and wizardburger.com to order ahead.
Okay, let's check out what's happening in past guest of Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, related news. Our very own Ethan Ullman is excited to announce a special event that he will be taking part in this Friday, June 21st.
Yes, it's so exciting. I will be moderating a Q&A with past guest of the podcast and longtime head writer of the Eric Andre Show, Dan Curry, after a screening of the film The People's Joker. Now, if you haven't heard of The People's Joker, it premiered at the same Toronto International Film Festival year as Weird the Al Yankovic Story. It's a film written, directed, edited by, and starring Vera Drew, and it's both a parody of the Joker and Batman comic universe, and it's based on her experiences as a transgender woman. And not only is Vera a huge fan of Weird Al, she also was one of the editors on Weird Al's season of Comedy Bang Bang.
The event kicks off at Proctor's in Schenectady, New York, with a screening of the film at 7 p.m. Burrito Burrito time, and is followed by the Ethan-moderated Q&A with Dan, who portrays the iconic Batman villain Bane in the film. We hope you can make it.
Now, Dave and I would like to once again thank Jordan Cooper from the Don't Let's Start a They Might Be Giants podcast for joining us on the news last episode. He let us know that they have an exclusive bonus episode series for their Patreon supporters at the Exquisite Dead Guy tier, featuring deep dives into Weird Al songs.
The first episode, 5 Weird Al Songs for Dave, is available now, and the additional 2 episodes, focusing on Jordan's favorite Weird Al songs, will be available in the next few weeks.
If you're interested in supporting their podcast and these awesome supplemental Weird Al related episodes, you can head over to patreon.com/don'tlet'sstartpodcast.
Now it's time for what's happening in Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast related news.
Speaking of They Might Be Giants and Patreon, keep an eye out on our Patreon, patreon.com/2000inch, for the full unedited interview with Jordan Cooper, including some talk about They Might Be Giants' relationship with Weird Al and more.
And after speaking with Jordan, Ethan was prompted to look up his interviews with John Linnell and John Flansburgh of They Might Be Giants.
Yes, recorded back in my radio show days. Now, Dave and I figured there was enough crossover with our listeners, with They Might Be Giants fans, that we plan to release them exclusively on our Patreon over at patreon.com/2000inch.
And technically, since Weird Al is brought up in one of the interviews, you'll have to check it out regardless.
Now, we also want to remind you that this coming Monday, June 24th, both Dave and I will be at the Alamo Draft House in Yonkers, New York, for their UHF movie party.
Tickets are long sold out, but if you were one of the lucky ones to score tickets and will be in attendance, we'd love to meet you, so be sure to stop by and say hello.
Well, all right, let's check out the final part of our interview with Weird Al's Museum of Natural Hilarity pinball game designers Steven Silver and Michael Ocean, already in progress.
Just go back to the call-outs since we were on that topic. Were there any call-outs that you had sent to Weird Al where he maybe suggested, let's change the wording on this or let's not do this one? And along those same lines, were there any in your 3-hour mega recording session that he just improvised or made up on the spot?
Yes, but I can't exactly remember what they were. Like, we were in there and there were some that said, nah, I'll probably not do that one, or maybe. And then he'll improvise some other ones, but I just can't, for the life of me, I can't remember what exactly they were.
Okay.
Because we were just flowing when we were doing it. It wasn't anything like super bad or anything. He was just like, maybe I won't skip around that one, because I was just like, hey, if there's anything you don't feel like doing, that no worries, nothing in here is sacred,
Right.
So, except for that one joke that I wrote, you got to read that one out. So. No, there was and so there wasn't too much, but no, he was real easygoing and everything, and I think there may have been one or two that he was like, yeah, maybe we don't use that, and I was like, no, that's fine, no problem. So
Right. Okay.
Now, you did mention earlier, I don't know if this was a joke, but Al's feedback was at a 27 here. What sort of feedback did you get from Al and Jay, and love to hear about what sort of changes were made.
Yeah, not a joke. That's real. I mean, that really happened. I actually, let me throw myself under the bus. It's true. I was afraid of overusing 27. And then when we got the feedback, I said to Steven, we can't put it in so many places. Come on. And then we got the feedback like, no, use it more. Like,
yeah.
Okay. I'm, happy to do so. But yeah, specific feedback. Steve, do you have anything specific that you remember? I just remember being aloft for an hour or so after hearing that he liked what we had done. But I can't remember. There were a couple of small things that I think were recommended.
In the beginning, it was the hardest thing was getting the likeness down, because it originally I was going for a caricature look and with the art direction and everything, and it like the 80s Al with the mustache and glasses were a lot easier to capture than without, right? And so it took a little while for us to dial in and really get with the artist to get that down. But that was it. Like that, after that, everything was pretty smooth sailing. So
when it came to the references, I mean, it's hard to even say references, because there's sound references, there's visual references, there's physical references in there. I mean, it goes so deep in literally every aspect of the machine. But does Al have a hand in that, or is that you guys working together as Weird Al fans to really cram in all those Easter eggs?
That's some obsessive people. That's all us.
Yeah. Why would you not want to have Harvey's hamster wheel in the center of the playfield? Why would you not want to have a recreation of the camera from UHF as a physical ball lock to lock balls into? You don't want a supplies closet? Yeah, right, yeah, exactly. Of course you want a supplies closet in the back of aren't these just obvious things to put in your Weird Al pinball machine?
I mean, to us, yes, but
yes.
No, it's
good.
One thing what we did with it though was that there was a lot of thought put into, most people coming up to this machine, they're going to be like, hey, Weird Al, that's a parody guy. And so we purposely put the well-known songs, the ones that were on the easy shots to hit. So if you hit the left ramp or the right orbit, the right turnaround shot underneath the camera, those are the easy shots to hit. Those are the halls that are the ones that are going to be hit the most. Those are the ones that are going to get you into the modes first. And on those shots, we put the most popular songs. So if people are going to, I talked about this before, but there's a concept in pinball of deep games, to where you play through stuff and you got to keep playing to get really far, and you got to play a long time to go and explore the game really deep. And then there's wide games, to where there's a lot of stuff that's really close to the start button. You can press the start button and you can see the game by really quickly, just by not doing a whole lot. You can get to one mode or another mode pretty quickly. And Al is a little bit of both, right? You can get to a mini wizard halfway and then a really insane wizard mode once you've done the whole game. But it's also very wide. Like, you can see the entire game because a lot of it is really close. You just we've got one of the late additions we had was this VIP ticket thing, where if you hit the VIP counters, we've got these two targets that pop up in the middle, and you can get in there and you can go and pick any song you want to play in the game. But we purposely put the popular songs and put them on the shots that were easiest, so people would get in there and they'd be like, "Oh, I know Like a Surgeon. Oh, I know Amish Paradise. I know, I know White Nerdy," and they would play those songs. But then, if they got into another mode, they might be exposed to something like Weasel Stomping Day or Sports Song or Mission Statement or some of these other things like that, and they'd start doing stuff deeper than that. So a lot of thought was put into this to try try to expose people more and more. And everybody's going to accidentally start Hardware Store and be exposed to one of the greatest songs ever made. So, and if they're lucky, they'll get to play Dare to Be Stupid, which we are very proud of being the stupidest multi-ball that's ever been put in a pinball machine. So, we do absolutely insane stuff to your flippers if you spin that wheel of stupidity.
Yeah, you're right. So Dare to Be Stupid, it is incredible. It's a wild game once you do eventually trigger Dare to Be Stupid, because like you said, you're spinning a wheel and it's sort of like the Wheel of Fish, or it reminds me of the Wheel of Fish from UHF. And then one of the options is your flippers reverse, meaning, the left flipper's the right flipper and the right flipper's the left flipper. And that just changes everything, because now you're totally thrown out of your element. But it is so much fun, these multi-ball games.
You have to cross your arms. You play cross arms.
I think I do.
Yeah. Or you flip both flippers at the same time. That's how you get through
it. Just start hitting the flippers and hoping for the best. That's sort of my strategy on that one.
So, Dave, have you ever heard of Twitch Connect?
Twitch Connect? No, I have not.
Okay, so we've got a feature in the P3 called Twitch Connect. So when people are streaming Weird Al, we had one of my buddies just got a Weird Al and he was streaming it. We added this feature called Twitch Connect, so you can hook your P3 up hook it up to Twitch, so it's got its own Twitch bot that plays. And so while you're playing the P3, it jumps on chat, it jumps into Twitch chat, and then as you're playing it, people in chat can type stuff in chat and it interacts with your machine. So while you're playing, people in chat can cheer bits. They can go cheer 100 bits for reverse flippers. And while you're playing, they can just reverse your flippers while you're playing.
Wow.
Or they can do cheer 100 blackout. They can black out your screen for like 20 seconds. Or they can do inverse. They can invert your flippers. And so you as a streamer are making money because they're paying for these bits, but they also are messing with your game. And it's absolutely hilarious whenever people that are brave enough when they're streaming Weird Al to turn this on. But also, we've got a game called Barnyard on the P3, which has a whole lot of animals. So if people have Twitch Connect on, you can just type moo or oink or neigh into it, and the P3 actually starts mooing and oinking and neighing out of the machine. So.
Yeah, even an owl. It's pretty awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dave, we got to figure out Twitch. We got to do that.
I think so. I think that's our next mission.
What's great is that you don't have to have Twitch to actually mess with it. Like, I just will pull out my phone while my kids are playing, and I'll just jack with them while they're playing, because I'll just turn on the chat bot and just sit there and make the machine go reverse flippers while they're playing. They're like, "What's going on?" I just laugh.
Please, offline, explain to me only how to do it so I can mess with Dave.
Again, it is our mission to go to every individual person and teach them about these features. So we'll flip a coin.
I think, Ethan, we just discovered a new Patreon level.
I think so.
Where we give our Patreons family control of my Weird Al's Museum of Natural Hilarity pinball game while I'm playing.
Destroy Dave's fun for 10 bits. That's incredible.
You say destroy it, but it's actually the most fun you'll ever have playing pinball when your audience is just jacking with you. It's amazing.
It sounds hilarious. Absolutely.
It does. Yeah. Oh, man.
I want to talk about some of these other fun perks that are in there, which also had me cracking up. You mentioned a lot of the 27 references. I feel like almost every one of the games has at least one 27 reference in it, for sure. But there are a couple other funny little things, like we mentioned the reverse flippers on Dare to Be Stupid. But this game, you can actually lose points in it. For example, if you hit the VIP and you don't actually get the ball into the scoops and trigger the VIP, it subtracts points from your score, which is... I don't know if that's unique to this game or to pinball or not, but that had me laughing. I'd love to hear about that.
I was a big advocate for the VIP, right? I wanted it to be possible for anyone to be able to start a mode, and if you if you do the VIP thing, you should be able to choose, almost any mode in the game. So, right, you should be able to visit almost any exhibit. But it's such a big target that I realized, gosh, if somebody misses that, I'm taking away points. I don't even remember if we discussed it. I think I just did it.
Yeah, no,
I just did it, right?
You just did it.
Yeah, I just did it.
You just did it.
I think the very first thing I did,
And
the bonus, right? Is this what you're going to say, Stephen?
Yeah, it's just the bonus. It's people got negative bonus, and it was amazing. We're just like, that's fan.
Yeah. Well, I also did the very first bonus thing I coded was no bonus. Now you have a bonus, and I take it away.
Yeah, the no awards award, yes.
So you don't get a bonus. Yeah.
Just kidding. No bonus.
Yeah, that is incredible.
But yeah, I mean, there's we had also originally had negative points in sports song, but we pulled that back because it was possible to really lose a lot of points if it started to feel unfun.
Yeah, if you stack the multi-ball on sports song, it was bad news. Yeah, we just
Oh, jeez.
blasting targets like crazy, and it was real bad.
You somehow leave the machine owing it points. Like, what happened? I gotta play 3 more games to break even.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one we did back off on. But
Can I just brag on Michael for a second? Michael came up with one of the most brilliant ideas in all of pinball, I think, is the My Bologna, which is and there wasn't even any. We would go into these mode discussions about different ideas, and we would fight back and forth about different stuff. But Michael came in and it's just like, I want to make bologna sandwiches. I just want to see how tall we can make them and just stack different ingredients. We're like, nope, that's it. That's the idea. We're going to do that. And it just is so great. And we'll watch people on stream just going, I watched this one guy. He was just like catching the ball and backhanding that loop going, more. And he just kept stacking this thing higher and higher and higher because if you keep making consecutive loops, it does exponentially more meat and you just more and more bologna. And it just was getting higher and higher and higher. And we realized that was possible, so we had to extend the set, and we built the menu up there where if you build it high enough, there's more jokes hidden behind the screen that get revealed the higher and higher the sandwich it gets, and so nobody's gone beyond the top of the menu yet, but someday somebody will.
Oh wow!
And then I'll be sad.
yeah, that's very kind of you, Stephen. But you're misremembering that I always wanted it to be comically high. I remember I wanted it to like leave the building. I wanted to go outside.
Yeah.
But that turns out to be a very hard loop to make. So when people the first time people see the camera pan up to realize like, oh, my sandwich can go higher. It's a cool experience. And then, again, Stephen deserves so much credit for that script. It's hilarious. And the call-outs are so well executed by Al. But there are variations for when you have a sandwich with no meat. Like if you have just a veggie sandwich, when you just put on too much bread, right? There's so many call-outs that we can really respond to the sandwich that you make, which makes me laugh every time.
It's not often that you work on something for a solid year and it still cracks you up. Every time
Yeah, it's one of those. He's so amazing, right? I would start the simulator and realize, oh, I need to fix something. And I'd go code and I'd realize, oh, for the last half hour, I've been listening to a loop of Fun Zone. Yeah, it didn't bother me. It was fun. It was nice. Like, oh, for the last hour, I've been listening to Fun Zone. Okay. Yeah, that happens. It's so, the replay value is so high on this game. And yeah, to Stephen's point, you finish a big project and you feel like I'm done with this for a while. But this is one of the, you can play this game even having made it, know exactly what's in it, and you still have a good time, and it's still a lot of fun.
And you can save your state and go run with scissors and try to run with scissors. Keep trying to do your run with scissors runs.
I still don't understand. I was talking to someone recently about programming advice, and I said, and never let someone talk you into something like running with scissors, where like, how did I agree? I agreed because it was the right answer. But Stephen was like, oh, and then for the wizard mode, the final wizard mode, you'll just have someone replay little snippets of every single mode as a race as fast as you can. And I was like,
in the order in which you played them.
In the order in which you played them, yes. So if you played in a specific mode order, that's the mode order you do running with scissors in. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And I was ill prepared for just how much work that was going to be to sort of, okay, yeah, let's redo every mode, but in a very specific, with a new set of constraints. But it's awesome. I have no regrets. I couldn't even really blame Steven. It's awesome. It's so good. It's so fun. And I don't get there without cheating. I mean, without save states. There's no shame in it. Those outlanes are adjustable for a reason. That post came in the bag for a reason. That's, pinball's tricky.
By the way, that happens a whole lot where I say, this would be great. You should do that, Michael, because I'm the dumbest guy in the company. I don't know anything about coding. I just say, hey, let's do this. And I have no idea how much work this stuff is. So,
and so often
I get told no a lot.
Yeah, but also you are privy to the, yeah, that is the best idea. Fine. I know just how much work this is going to be, but yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to do it. Yeah, I mean, the whole team, right? I mean, it's a lot of, the mechanical engineering on making a pinball machine a real thing takes a lot.
I got to brag on TJ, our mechanical engineer. Like, look at this stuff in this game. Look at the amount of ball paths in this game. I tried to count them up, and I'm bad at math, but I stopped at 100 ball paths, individual ball paths in this game. Because I was like, just trying to calculate how many times on that right ramp shot, we can send the ball up that right ramp, and we can send it 6 different directions on that right ramp alone, right? And so, like, this playfield is a mechanical wonder. Like, this ball can go everywhere, and like from the upper flippers, you can do a figure 8 shot between those side loops, and we call it the squeeze box combo when you go back and forth between those side loops up there, and there's so much mechanically happening. There's more packed into that upper playfield than most full-size pinball machines that come out. And so our mechanical engineer, TJ Weaver, deserves a ton of credit. But he's a genius. He always knocks it out of the park in every every module we ship. So I brag on him all the time. He deserves it.
He deserves it. Yeah, it's. I mean, when we first saw that UHF camera, we're like, no, good job. That's exactly what we wanted it to look like. That's eerie.
I'm really curious about how it goes from the idea to actually, how is it designed? I guess I'm a novice when it comes to this, but how do you build it? Is it a computer simulation, or is someone working with essentially pinball Lego to create these different ramps and paths? And it seems so overwhelming. I don't even know how to really comprehend how you figure that out.
So what we do is we have a design process. Like, we all come together, we all pitch ideas for different things that we want in the game, right? Like, everybody comes in, somebody says, hey, what about an upper playfield, or what about this? And we try to pull together the best ideas that and try to mesh them together to get the best ideas. And what I'll do is I'll pull them all together, and like I said, I'm the dumbest guy in the company, so I use the tools that I know how to use. So I'll mess around and just Photoshop, kind of laying this stuff out. I think I sent you guys some pictures of early design stuff where I've got the lower playfield layout. We start off with some blanks of our playfield, and we've got to design where our ball launchers are going to be. The way the P3 works is a normal pinball machine. You've got a shooter lane on the right-hand side of the machine, and you've got a ball trough at the bottom. Well, the P3, we've got ball launchers. We got this launcher in the back where we can launch the ball from one of 7 places, and you just design your upper playfield to say which one of these launch spots are you going to use in your upper playfield. And so we can design around those launch locations in any playfield, and so we just incorporate those in. And so I'll kind of lay it out there and we'll iterate on the design and play around with it, and then I'll hand it to TJ, and TJ will mock it up in CAD, and we'll try to see how this stuff looks in the physical realm and see if things are actually working, and just a lot of iteration to try to make it work. We'll try things, and like I sent you guys a bunch of iteration stuff. Originally, instead of the camera, we were thinking like a Twinkie Wiener sandwich that we would load up, and then we're like, no, camera would actually be better for what we're doing, and so. We'll still have a Twinkie Wiener sandwich in there, but we'll have a camera that will load up the back of this thing, because we can have the camera like look at you around the playfield. And so we just make a whole lot of, we just iterate and iterate as we go through. And then once we've got a pretty good design in CAD, then we'll make a prototype and a whitewood. We'll pop it in the machine and shoot it. The whole time that's happening.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
we're building the whole game in code and in software in the simulator. That's the strength of the system, is that the whole team that's spread across the U.S. And around the world sometimes. Michael's over in Massachusetts. I'm in Houston. I'm animating. I'm creating visual assets. Rory's in Seattle. He's doing all the Unity graphics and things like that. And Michael's working like crazy, putting all this code together. And we're getting a fully simulating game. And then by the time we actually drop that playfield in, we'll usually have a game ready to shoot and ready to play. And so we drop that first whitewood in, and then you can start seeing how it actually shoots. And then we'll make some changes and iterations, and then we get something manufacturable after that.
Wow. What is the timeline of this process from, hey, let's do a pinball machine with Al? Wouldn't that be cool if they said yes, to Dave has a pinball machine?
well, we figured out that it was from start to, it was about a year. It was a very, very dense, hard, fun, crazy year.
Wow.
A lot of people working really hard.
Wow.
That was us to get to launch day. And then we launched it and we announced it, and we got our build queue immediately expanded on day one to like a year. So a lot of people who ordered on day one were like, hey, I ordered in the first 5 minutes. And we're like, yeah, everybody did. So that's why it was a year-long wait period. But that's why that's one thing I'd like to skip to now, is that we've now worked our way through that entire build queue, and the build queue is actually very, very small right now. So if anybody's hearing this and they're like, boy, this sounds like a really great pinball machine, the build queue is really, really small right now. This is a multi-award winning pinball machine. It's a multi-game platform. There are 20 games that are available on this system right now. So if you buy the system,
wow,
you have access to 20 games on this system. So there's 7 physical modules that you can buy, and the rest are software games that you can get. Some are free, some are like $200, some are $99. I mean, they're cheap in the pinball world, but you get all these different experiences that you can get on one physical machine that you can get. And once you buy the machine, you're into the system, right? So the next game we launch, you can get that module way faster than waiting for the whole system to come. If you ordered We're Out today, the wait time is about 2 to 3 weeks. You order it and it comes in 2 to 3 weeks. We're expecting in the next couple months to launch our next licensed game. We do not expect that wait line to stay at 2 to 3 weeks. The last time we had a licensed game, it was Weird Al. And like I said, in the first 5 minutes, it blew up to a year. So if anybody's listening to this going, Weird Al sounds really cool, this P3 sounds really cool, now is a good time to get in, because we have all the people who own P3s. When this next game is announced, guess what? You're not stuck waiting behind all the people waiting to get new machines. We have dual build lines. We have people building modules, and we got people building full machines. So modules are coming off the line, and they're shipping immediately to existing customers at the same time that we're sending out full machines. So if you're looking to get into the system, now is a really good time to do it. So multimorphic.com, if you got information, if you're interested at all in it, it would be a real good time to start looking into it and sending us an email. That's my pitch. So I always have people afterwards, once we announce these licensed games, they're like, oh, I wish I would have known sooner. I'm telling you now, so you'll know.
Well, and to our credit, I will give us the credit that as soon as we heard about Weird Al Pinball, we were telling our listeners. So I know some of them have already gone and made the purchase, and I hope more people continue to. And
yeah,
I want to ask you about the limited edition, which I think sold out in 5 minutes. I would love to hear about that.
Yeah, so we limited it to 227 for some reason. And I don't know why we picked that number. But no, 227 of these, and it's got what I think is the world's greatest topper. I love that topper, which is Weird Al squeezing his accordion up there and shaking back and forth. And I sent y'all guys some early early design, my early chicken scratch designs of it, and then TJ's nice design at the end of the day. And then we put out 227 of those, and it was an LE kit. So if you had a P3, you could buy the LE kit, and you can make your P3 in LE, because the P3 has magnetic art, and it's got you've got access when you got the LE to the LE art package, and you also got access to the LE backglass, or you can go into settings and change it back to the standard backglass if you want it as well. So those sold out. It was this special kit with special art, and it was just a nice package, and it also came with a special printed translate that we got signed by Weird Al himself. So everybody got one of those as well.
Yeah, that was really nice. I was one of those people, by the way, who was, I think maybe you guys launched at like 10 o'clock in the morning. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I had the email already typed out, ready to hit send. I want one of these. I think I got in the first 27 seconds of the on sale. And I still had to wait. I mean, I still had to wait a year to get my pinball machine, but it was totally worth it. Absolutely. The machine is incredible. I love it so much.
Well, we're glad you did wait.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, Multimorphic as a company has been one of the greatest companies that I've ever had to deal with. And I mean that honestly. As far as once you guys got overwhelmed with the amount of orders for this Weird Al pinball machine, immediately emails went out and said, there's going to be a delay of a year. And along the entire process, if you're not comfortable with this, we can cancel your order. But every couple of weeks and months, there was an update saying, we're still working on your machine. You're still in the target. Here's where we are. And the company, kept us updated. And I loved all those updates that I was getting. And I loved the fact that I could just email the company with any question I had, and they would immediately respond. In fact, let me tell you, there's been very little issues I've had with this machine at all. And the few that I've had to do, I think they're just normal pinball things from what I understand. But Multimorphic, you guys have a website with a service center where you can contact the company to get service on your machine, or if you have questions about it. There's entire videos out there that basically show you every little piece of this pinball game. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can pull up a video, I can look at it, I can service my machine if I need to. And I can tell you, one time I even emailed because I couldn't find the video I want at something like 11 o'clock at night. And I immediately got a response saying, well, here's the video you need. So I love the responsiveness of Multimorphic. I highly recommend it. Definitely, if anyone's on the fence about getting the Weird Al's Museum of Natural Hilarity pinball machine or any of the other amazing games that Multimorphic offers, yes, definitely get in now while you have a 2 to 3 month wait, because you will enjoy this machine for sure.
Yeah, that means a lot.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, the documentation and the videos and the tutorials, they're super important, right? I mean, for those of us who've been collecting pinball for a long time, we're used to sort of, okay, I got to get in there, I got to fix this. I know that this is a thing that can happen, and I know how to do it. But even still, the P3 is a little bit different. So the resources through TJ, the mechanical engineer, and then Jerry himself, who is CEO, founder of the company. Just making all this available so that way, hopefully everyone can, figure out how to do what they need to do to sort of, how to correctly change a playfield and and get good leverage on the thing. Here's the right way to pull it forward.
Right.
How to put legs on. I think there's even one for that. How to adjust the out lanes. How to put in that center drain post. I mean, they're all out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good to hear.
And this is a bootstrap company. This is a family company. Like Jerry Stellenberg, his wife, they poured everything into this, and it really, this is their baby. They've also got a baby that they bring to work a lot of times, where they're working through this stuff. So this means the world to them. They've spent a hard time trying to create the best customer service in the industry and try to take care of people, because this is a different business model than the other pinball companies, right? Because if you buy a regular pinball machine, if that company releases another pinball machine, well, they don't care if you sell that pinball machine to buy the next. In fact, they want you to get money to buy that new pinball machine. Go ahead, sell that pinball machine to buy the new pinball machine, right? Our model's different. And the model is we want to keep you a happy customer for a long time. So highly incentivized to make sure that your machine is taken care of and you're taken care of as a customer. So time and time again, I hear that the customer service is great, and they really do kill themselves trying to take care of the customers and treat everybody right. And so they deserve, and Jerry is really, I've worked with him for a long time. From the very first time I saw that machine, and I met him at the 2012 Texas Pinball Festival, and I talked to him, and I started working with him in 2013, making his promo videos for this stuff. He's been a stand-up, total guy of integrity, and I think it's a company built on integrity. So definitely, I'm biased, but yeah, you've got it's a great place to look to if you're going to get into pinball.
And, you said best customer service in the industry. I would even take the word industry out of that. I mean, customer service is pretty poor across numerous industries. So, the fact that you guys are the best, and it's such a complicated industry, and you guys really excel at that, is just, it's so refreshing to hear that as I talk to Dave and others who have the machine, at how wonderful everything is, and then my own personal experience with playing the machine and how absolutely incredible it is. I'm just wondering, should I get rid of my mattress or my couch? What should I get rid of so I can fit one of these machines in my apartment?
Well, the answer is the couch.
Okay.
The answer is the couch, because then you can just put your mattress underneath the pinball machine.
Well, he needs a place to store all those extra modules. So now you're.
Well, for now, we're easing him in. We're easing him in, Steven.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Soon he'll find out.
So, Michael, when are you going to implement my idea of putting the once they finish the game, you put the option on the screen that says tip 15%, 20, 25% on the end of it.
Honestly, we joke about this all the time. Send us a tip for an extra fourth ball, fifth ball, sixth ball. What would you like? Your score looks awfully close to the high score. Would you like to gratuity accepted?
Sure would be a shame if the machine shut off right now.
No, you're nice people.
I'm kidding.
One thing that really impressed me in seeing, what Dave got, I don't know if this was just for the limited edition or what it was, but, he got these extra key rings and little extra plastic printed things and all sorts of, you already mentioned the autograph. That is just so cool. As collectors of Weird Al, anything and everything, the fact that, you're able to get these extra little bonus incentives, that's just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's special, right? I mean, you especially knowing that this is your, this is your first and, only pinball machine, right? I mean, it's a big deal when you get it and you bring it home, and rather it gets brought to your home, I should say. Right. And these are things that are sort of they're a holdover from the pinball industry. There was always a sort of, they would print out a sheet of plastics, and then there was extra plastic, and then you get a little extra something that came in the drawer. These things feel special though, right? You just like, oh, that's nice.
Right.
And I mean, the whole idea of this game is to try to give you that nice, special feeling, whether you're just playing it or whether you own it and get to play it a lot. So yeah, that's awesome to hear that those little touches made a difference. That's awesome.
Yeah, they were very special. It was really nice to get those. I learned so much from you guys so far, and now I've got maybe my only criticism that I'm going to bring out here, and that is the game Germs is so freaking hard. Can you guys do something to make that easier? I love the oh my gosh. The first of all, so for people who are not familiar with the game, basically there are these amoebas that come up on the screen, and you have to hit them with the ball, and they turn from red to green. When you hit them, but you don't get the entire play field. There's little glass things that come up halfway through, and you are limited to half of the play field. You would think that makes things easier, but wow, somehow it makes it harder. And I'm partly joking here, but maybe it's frustration because I'm such a poor pinball player, but I just can't seem to beat the Germs game.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel very I feel very guilty about this for two reasons. First being I think I pitched a lot of what makes that mode really hard, but then even worse, and also implemented it. But even worse is the fact, have you updated to the latest code?
That's what
yeah,
I have.
So
you somehow made the game harder.
Yeah. Okay, so for people who haven't played it and people who haven't experienced it, the idea is that you are looking into a petri dish that is filled with these amoebas. And then what that means is that we put up these walls, these physical walls that we can raise and lower in the machine that are right at the edge of the screen before you have to hit the back of the playfield. And the entire effect makes you feel like you've just zoomed into the microscope and you're looking down at all these little amoebas. And every time you hit those back walls, we sense that hit and you crack the glass. And if you break the glass of the petri dish, and again, brilliant call outs, that's our last petri dish. If you break the glass, then you fall out of the mode. But if you manage to turn all the little angry amoebas, all the little red amoebas green, then you are rewarded with Germs Multiball. And Germs Multiball is a lot of fun. And it stacks with the other multi-balls. So in Germs Multiball, the Allosaurus is dancing in the lobby, and it's all green and gross, and he's swinging around the mop. But then you stack on top of it UHF, and then he's swinging around the mop. And you stack on another hat, and you start Dare to Be Stupid, and you stack on another hat. So the amoeba's got this amazing the Allosaurus has got this amazing stack of hats, and a mop, because you're trying to clean up the lobby. But what we noticed is that because the way this mode works is that you're actually interacting with the amoeba graphics that are floating around the lower display, trying to hit them with a physical ball, people were just cradling the ball and letting the amoebas crash into the ball that was cradled into the flipper, and they weren't really experiencing the mode.
Yep.
So in a recent update, in addition to a lot of other things, we added a colorblind option that basically makes a much more defined outline for one of the types, so you could really kind of more quickly visually distinguish it. But I also closed that loophole that let people just
I think since you've closed that loophole, I've been unable to hit the multi-ball. So you definitely accomplished what you were trying to do.
No. Well, I have an idea, and Stephen and I will discuss it. And I promise you, we will strongly consider it. I shouldn't say it while we're recording.
Make it meaner?
No, easier this time. I know. Usually that is my go-to move. But no, I think maybe drains might be okay in that mode, which maybe we should talk about doing that. And only if you break the glass is it a problem. But no promises, but maybe. We'll do that.
Well, all right.
We'll have to think about it. But yeah, I mean, the game is done, but also never done. I'm changing some light show stuff and some lighting things right now, because every time I sit down and I'm working on something else, I think, oh, this is a neat thing that I'm doing for a new game. I should also do something for Al. So, you get these updates. Like we made You Make Me a lot easier and a lot more fun, actually, in the last update. But yeah, Germs did get harder, and you're not the only one to provide that feedback, and I'm sorry. But it's all Stephen's fault? Question mark?
Oh, man.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, that's it.
But I was like, let's go make those. Also, the Germs, they're a lot hungrier when they attack your flippers. When they bite your flippers lose power. Before they were really weak.
Yep.
And now they're really chomping those flippers. They're taking your flipper power out a lot quicker. That was all me, baby. Yeah.
It really is. It really is a horrible combination for the player. That, don't worry, You used to be able to just kind of hide. Now you can't hide. But also when they get you, they do more damage. Enjoy. Okay, well, yeah, we'll tinker with that one, I suspect. But awesome that you're enjoying it. Awesome that, I mean, who doesn't love rocking out to Germs while playing a bizarre pinball mode that wouldn't be possible on any other pinball machine?
I know the first time I played Germs mode and I saw the walls lift up, the glass lift up, my mind literally just exploded. Like, and I say literally, like my mind did explode. It was very painful. It was incredible.
That's what I love about this platform, right? Like, I mean, this is the thing, is that the stuff that allows us to do with visual storytelling and with world creation, you just couldn't do with a painted piece of wood. And I love pinball. I love traditional pinball. I love the art of the painted piece of wood and everything. But we're able to do such incredible things because we've got this ball tracking screen, and we've got those walls and scoops, and we've got this we've got the ability to launch the ball from all these different positions, and we've got the ability to pull the ball off the table from all these different positions and instantly launch it from another position. That just this platform enables so much creativity, and it allows us to do so many different things. Whereas how do you tell these kind of stories when the only storytelling mechanism you've got is a screen on the back glass and blinking lights in the playfield in other places? I don't know. I really, really love this platform. I love the things we were able to do with it. And, we've got a speed run at the end of the game that I made Michael do, and I'm really happy about that. So you run all the way through the whole game again and try to do it as fast as possible. And I'm terrible at it, but I love it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and Steven, I mean, he's responsible for all the video in the game and working with Matt and sort of getting the visual styling just right. And I remember we were talking about Germs specifically, and oh yeah, so then there'll be Al, and he'll be in like a lab coat or something, and then we'll zoom into the microscope, and then it'll be like you're inside it. And I was like, okay, I can hear what you're saying, but I can't possibly imagine what that's going to look like. Like, sure enough, it looks great. Like, it's awesome, and all the different costume changes that you get for the Al as the in all the different modes.
All those
really,
different costumes, all that animation. So this is just as behind the scenes. Every time we have Al's head animating back and forth, I've lip synced it to his mouth, but all of his head and eye motions, that's me using head tracking software. That's my eyebrows and my head going back and forth. So that's my expression so cool. There, and then I lock it onto his body in there. So. But,
I love it.
Wow. Oh man.
But there's a lot of stuff in there, like we were able to do, like in just talking about some of the Easter eggs in Traffic Jam, right? The car you're driving is the Belvedere from Belvedere, in that if you look at it,
I love that.
Yeah, and there's the one thing that's an inside thing with the P3 is in Amish Paradise. Whenever he goes aside and he shows you the Amish pinball machine. And you got this little pinball machine without a head that's like looks like an ornate piece of furniture. That's actually the prototype of the P3. That's the P3 that Jerry brought to Texas Pinball Festival so many years ago. That's exactly what the P3 looked like a long time ago. Only it says A3 on this machine in the background back there. And so that it's like people who know the P3, that's what that is. So that's an inside joke for us, So it's not just it's not just the Weird Al fans that we're doing it for. I'm doing jokes for like 4 people, so I'm not above it.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just so much to cover, and we could literally spend hours. How cool would it be if the 4 of us could get together and just play the game and talk about it for hours? I mean, that would be a dream come true, and maybe we can accomplish that over Twitch someday. But I think that's something we should reach for. I think all of our listeners should get this so we can all understand the inside jokes and the camaraderie of playing this incredible game and machine.
Oh, if y'all get it, there's another game on here called another module we've got called Cosmic Kart Racing. If you all get P3s and y'all install Cosmic Kart Racing, that is an online head-to-head pinball machine where we can all log on, we can connect to each other, we can race head-to-head against each other. It's an online racing game where we can do 4-player
Oh, my
head-to-head
goodness.
races against each other on the P3. And so this is a really, really cool platform, people. It does amazing stuff where you can. It was really awesome during the pandemic where we could play online head-to-head pinball against each other, and it was where you could do power-ups against somebody else. So if I played a blockade against Michael, his walls and scoops would pop up on his machine in real time and block his ramp so he couldn't make ramp shots. So it was like playing a turtle shell against him. So
Oh, wow.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, we got third-party developers doing some cool, like very unique experiences. A developer just released a game called Birdwatcher, where it's a very Pokemon Snap, those sorts of vibes, where you're just kind of like trying to take pictures of birds, and you're trying to fill up your journal of all the, trying to catch snapshots of all these rare birds, and then for every different physical module that you have, you get a different unique bird if you play the game on that module, like the bird that's native to that playfield.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of,
Wow.
I mean, people are starting to do some really cool and unique experiences that sort of fuse video games and pinball also on the platform. So whereas, Multimorphic proper, like we're delivering cutting edge, sort of more traditional pinball experiences through the open SDK, people are like making their own things that are a little less normal, a little more weird, actually. And it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, but these third-party games are ideas that you couldn't take them to another pinball manufacturer and say, hey, can you make 100 of these games or something like that? Because most of them are bonkers ideas that couldn't exist on a painted piece of wood. But they're also, it just doesn't exist. And this platform has this SDK that anybody could download for free and start making a game in Unity, start testing it out, have somebody with a P3, they can try it on their P3, and then they can release it and be nominated for the same awards that we won, right? They can be nominated for awards and be considered part of the community, but be part of the industry. We've got one guy, and one of our guys that works for the company now that does tech support for us. He builds his own modules. He sells a module called Drain. His name's Nick Baldridge. He has a company called For Amusement Only Games, and he sells a vampire game. It's an EM style game built in 2023 with a bell and chimes and all this sort of stuff built into a game in 2023, and it's awesome. And you play. It's all black and white. It's an Edward Gorey style artwork. You pop that in you pop out Weird Al. It takes 2 minutes to take the glass off, pop out Weird Al, pop in Drained. You got a whole new pinball experience. And he's the world's smallest pinball manufacturer. He builds these himself. He sends them out to customers, and people love it. And he's built software only games for almost all of our other modules too, because I don't think Nick sleeps, and Nick's awesome. So I love this third party aspect of this system, to where there's so many people in our Discord channel that are excited by it, and they're building their own games, and they're coming up with really cool ideas on their own and really creative stuff. Michael released his own game. It's called Dungeon Door Defender for the heist playfield, and it's amazing. There's people that love Dungeon Door Defender, and they just can't get enough of it. Defending the door against all these swarming hordes, and it works so well on this playfield. It's such an addictive game, and these are very, very affordable pinball experiences. Once you're already on the platform, you get a whole new. You just don't have to switch anything. You just go into the main menu, hit a couple buttons, and you're into a new pinball game. So you can download everything over Wi-Fi. So I don't know. I love everything about this platform. I love being an owner as much as anything else, but making games for this stuff. I love going upstairs and having access to all these games and sharing it with my kids. If you have it in your house, I guarantee you got something on there for everybody in your household. People that don't even like pinball, there's something on there that they like. There's some game on there that they like.
I think the only bad thing that I can say about this pinball machine is that I don't have one.
Not yet.
Yeah.
We'll have to fix that. Guys, this is just incredible. What an incredible product and thing you guys have made, and incorporated Weird Al into. I mean, it's just something that I don't think I would have ever imagined, you know, being a Weird Al fan and seeing these other bands with their pinball machines. I would have never imagined that A, Weird Al would have one, and B, that, you know, his would rival theirs to be even better than anyone could ever expect. It's just the greatest thing ever. So we really appreciate you guys. We really appreciate Multimorphic and Weird Al's Museum of Natural Hilarity. People can head over to multimorphic.com. Do it right now so you can order your machine and not have to wait too long.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
I experienced the first pinball machine that has hip-hop music in it.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. This has just been remarkably awesome.
Thank you. I mean, it's always great to talk to anyone who loves Weird Al. It's always great to talk to anyone who enjoys pinball. When you get to talk to people who do both, I don't know how you could lose. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much to Steven Silver and Michael Ocean for joining us this episode and last episode to discuss Weird Al's Museum of Natural Hilarity.
We were thrilled to learn so much about the game and their process, and we really hope any listeners who are on the fence about picking one up for themselves now have all the information they need.
For more information about the Weird Al pinball game and to check out their other great games, including The Princess Bride, head on over to multimorphic.com.
This episode is brought to you in part by Discover Darwin, promoting tourism in Darwin, Minnesota. Not only is historic Darwin, Minnesota beautiful, it's also all wet.
The Darwin, Minnesota Twineball Facebook account reports that on June 16th, there was a big puddle between the tracks and the town of Darwin, Minnesota.
The Darwin, Minnesota Twineball Facebook account goes on to say that they watched multiple vehicles go through the big puddle without difficulty, but they opted themselves not to chance it.
Although, by their own admission, they probably would have made it, we here at Discover Darwin think they made the correct choice, as driving on flooded roads is never a good idea.
Fortunately, the Darwin, Minnesota Twineball Facebook account was able to find another way into town, just across from the Darwin sledding area and rest area.
No further information is yet available about the current size or status of the puddle, so please take care when you are driving in the area.
Visit Darwin, Minnesota on your next safe driving expedition. Discover Darwin, more than just the Twineball. And after you visit Darwin, Minnesota, be sure to attempt to visit www.discoverdarwin.biz.
Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast is brought to you absolutely free thanks to our incredible sponsors, Burrito, Wizard Burger, our very own Jackson Scoggins, and Discover Darwin. Our podcast is also supported by everyone else in our Patreon family, with special thanks to our very own close personal friend level Patreon supporters, Scotto Brothers, Matt, Zach Casper, Adriana Banana Yugovich, Dana B. and Beaker, UH Jeff, Blair, Kenneth, Ajax, Javier, Kev Messick, Gus and Alicia, Ron, Zeb, Weird's Dream Date Nancy, Casey Killingsworth, Allison, and also thanks to Sheepdog David Grant, aka Wolf and Wool Productions, Spencer Parks, Vicky DeVries, Rhymes with Cheese, William Joseph King, and Tuga Rose 27, as well as everyone else in our pretty stinking majestic Patreon family.
If you enjoy our Weird Al podcast, enhanced with new technology and capable of delivering years of entertainment, as heard in the Weird the Al Yankovic Story commentary track, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/2000inch. There are awesome benefits like getting your name on the podcast, your own private RSS feed, which gives you early access to each and every bonus episode, and the self-satisfaction of doing something important with your otherwise pitiful, meaningless existence. And don't forget to check out our official merchandise over at shop.2000inch.com. All proceeds from purchases go directly towards supporting our fine podcast.
And we love hearing from our listeners and other Weird Al fans, so be sure to join our Facebook community over at group.2000inch.com and make sure you visit our Discord server for even more riveting Weird Al and Red Rub the Goody related conversations. You can find both of them linked on our website, as well as information about past episodes and guests over at 2000inch.com or weirdalpodcast.com.
Keep up on new episodes, podcast news, and events by following at 2000inch on Facebook, X, Threads, and Instagram. And be sure to subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a single episode. Not only does subscribing help the podcast, if you hit subscribe with your thumb, you'll be just that much stronger when it comes time for your next thumb war. Plus, we also love it when we receive voicemail via official patent-pending 27-hour-a-day podcast hotline 347 Spatula, as seen in the Illustrated Al, The Songs of Weird Al Yankovic. That number is 347-772-8852. Give it a call or a text, and you might even hear your message in a future episode.
Thank you once again to Steven Silver and Michael Ocean for joining us this episode and last episode. We also wish to thank Jerry Stellenberg, Multimorphic, UH Jeff Nucera, Lily E. Hirsch, Dan Curry, Jordan Cooper, John Linnell, John Flansburgh, the Darwin, Minnesota Twineball Facebook account, John Bermuda Schwartz, and Claire Walsh. Thank you to the Grammy Award-winning Jim Kimo West for our incredible podcast theme song. And thank you to the suave Weird Al Yankovic, as his podcast probably would not exist without him. And a big thank you to all of you, our loyal listeners, subscribers, Patreon supporters, and sponsors, and everyone else who makes our podcast possible.
Thank you for choosing Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast. And until next time, remember to gill and chill, keep listening to Weird Al, and stay cheesy!
Stop. Grammar time. Hey, Ethan, I was curious how you would do on some of the multiple choice questions in the Word Crimes minigame grammar quiz from the Weird Al pinball game.
Oh, sure. Sounds fun, Dave. I'm great at taking tests.
For today's test, you will pick the letter that corresponds to the correct answer. See if you can spot the pattern. See you out there. See what I did there?
All right, Dave, ask those questions. Let's see how I do.
B, C, R, U are what? A, words. B, sentences. C, letters. D, paragraphs.
I'm gonna pass.
Ooh, the correct answer was C. Okay. Rain during a wedding is what? A, irony. B, irony. C, coincidence. D, kind of funny.
Oh, I'm gonna pass.
Ooh, that answer was also C. Okay, final question. How are you doing? A, good. B, bad. C, well. D, terrible.
Oh, I think I aced this.
That was Dave and Ethan's 2000-inch Weird Al podcast, episode 234-inch.
When you listen, you'll have a multi-ball.
Uh-huh.